So I'm delighted to be with Carl Hutchings via a platform called Zoom. Zoom is a very useful platform. And I notice it's got a lot more reach than it had last year. So things have developed with Zoom, and I'm sure things are developing with you, Carl, as well. So, Carl, if you can let my listeners know a little bit more about your own background and what made you get into property.
Okay, so hi guys, everyone listening. My name's Carl Hutchings. I started off as a professional football player. I played for 13 years, and whilst playing professional football, I realised that obviously football doesn't last forever. You know, sporting career doesn't last forever, and that I needed to secure my income after finishing my career. So I started investing very early in property. I started building a major property portfolio, and I built up such a portfolio that was paying me such an income that I was able to retire from football and have that choice to be able to retire from football at the age of 29. And since then, I've been full-time in property, which is now every year passes, it feels like I'm getting older. It's a good, 13, nearly 15 years now in full-time in property.
So, Carl, in terms of the past 6 to 12 months, tell people about what you've been up to, and then going forward, everyone at this time of year, and for those of you who are listening to the video after January, when I say this time of year, we're looking at January onwards. People always looking at the goals going forward. Of course, as a football player in the past, you're always looking at goals, you know, whether you're scoring them or trying to make sure people don't score past you as well. So looking at opportunities and challenges, you could say. So, Carl, just to go back into the previous 6 to 12 months, what's that been like for you in terms of property?
So basically, 2017 was an interesting year because I made a conscious decision that I wanted to change my business and change the way I was going. For the last, like I said, 10 years plus, I've been doing lots of different strategies, from developing, building portfolios for other people, joint venturing with other people, and doing lots of developing and refurbishing property. But in beginning of 2017, I decided that I wanted to bring that side of the business to much more of a quieter space, so to speak. So, less deals per year, and really then start to focus on the business side of things, and basically how I can start to help other people to achieve some of the things that I've achieved, and also look at the business element and how we can really start to grow different businesses, because I love the whole entrepreneurship thing. So basically, over the last 6 months, I've really been winding down a lot of my big developments, bringing a lot of my refurbishments to an end, not really taking that much on, and then really going into 2018 now. The whole plan has really been looking at working with other businesses, working with other people, obviously still in the property industry, in this property space, but working with people who are looking to really start to build their business and their property portfolio, and seeing how I can help them, partner with them, JV with them in doing that side of things. And then the other side of my business, where before I was doing much more sort of like hands-on development, that side of things now I'm really looking at planning, sort of like working again with partners, where we're looking at big land opportunities where we can sort of like look at gaining planning permission for a number of units, rather than sort of like just doing one or two sort of like big units.
Carl, I have to admit, I didn't realize you were 13 years as a professional football player, which is a huge amount of time. I know you retired at 29, but I don't know what the average statistic is in terms of longevity of a football player. It's probably less than 13 years now.
They say, I think now the average is between 5 to 7 years of a professional football player. And at 29, 30, I could have kept going probably till I was 35. But for me, the goal for everyone and anyone should be financial freedom, and really making sure that you have control of that financial freedom, making sure that, you know, you're not reliant on anyone else to be paying your bills and stuff. And that was my key goal, my key driver, even whilst I was playing professional football, was to make sure that I had another income coming in from professional football. Because one of the things that I realized very quickly early on in my career was that I wasn't in control of, you know, whether I played every week. You know, ultimately I was in control of how I trained and what I'd done, and getting myself to the best physical state I could be in. But, you know, whether I was selected on that Saturday was down to someone else, and that was my manager, you know. And back then the money wasn't what it was. So, you know, we was relying on playing on a Saturday so we could get that extra bonuses, you know, the extra play bonus, the extra win bonus, the extra goal scoring bonus, and all of that. And that all comes around being able to play. You know?
And no one wants to sit on a subs bench either.
No, that's
Well,
it. You know?
maybe nowadays, but even I don't think many subs want to sit on a subs bench. You know,
No.
people want to be part of the action, part of the whatever scene, whether it's the property scene or whether it's the football scene. Look, just one quick sub tangent. So, fitness and health do come together. You know, people may argue they're different, but where did you transfer that fitness to the health? Because without health, you don't really have a business, to be fair. So if people are going to take something away from you today, Khan, I know it's not necessarily directly about property, but in terms of health, what do you do which puts you in good shape? You know, still to this day, you haven't played professional football for 13 years, and you're still in good shape. You're consistently working in property for the last almost 15 years. So what can people take away from this call today about health? You know, maybe they're not a professional sports person ever going to be in their life, but what things do you do which you think make a difference?
Well, two areas really. I mean, I like to keep my mind sharp. I like to keep my body sharp. So basically, I go to the gym still every day. You know, when I can, obviously, I say every day, sort of like as often as possible, probably at least 5 times a week. Now, what I do in the gym depends on you know, my body, how it's feeling, but I'll always do some cardio, a little bit of a run and stuff like that, and some weights. But also keeping the mind sharp is really important for me. You know, I love testing myself and looking at things, reading new stuff, learning every day. You know, I might spend an hour in the gym, but I'll also spend an hour online just doing research on stuff that, you know, maybe I have no idea about whatsoever. I'll hear something new and I feel, oh, I don't know about that. Let me just research a little bit of it up, and it just keeps your mind growing, keeps your mind, because of you know, obviously you may have heard it said your brain is just a muscle, and if you gotta keep working it, otherwise it's not gonna grow. You know.
No, I definitely understand that, and I love listening to memory guys like Jim Quick, an American, and also being in talks with a former UK. I think he's been a world memory champion as well. So, Carl, just to go back on the fitness for a brief moment, in terms of metrics, do you look at metrics as being important?
Are
So,
you looking for a new fitness guide?
no, but just to continue on that, but I don't have the opportunity to speak to someone who's had that professional, you know, lifestyle moving into property. So, you know, one goal, you know, people look at goal setting, and interestingly, another interview got lined up, not with a professional sports person, but with someone who's a triathlete, and it's looking at, you know, those metrics. So, what metrics do you implement from sporting world into the property world?
I mean, I think when you talk about metrics, sort of like your numbers, knowing your numbers is really, really important. Now, obviously, from the sporting point of view, it's really just about, you know, your training and how you're feeling physically, and you know, your physical, your weight and all that side of things. But for me, really, in business, I really look at you know, how many you know, how many prospects, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So for instance, if I'm trying to achieve joint venture partners, yeah, or I'm trying to achieve, like this year going forward now is more type of mentoring clients or businesses that I can consult for. Okay, so for that, then it's a different type of business than what it was, you know, just doing property. Now I'm looking at how many leads can I generate that are interested in what I'm offering and interested in what I'm talking, what I'm talking about and how I can help them. And then I'm looking at the metrics of, so for all the leads that come in, how many people do I talk to? And then from the people that I talk to, how many actually want to work with me?
So,
So,
Carl, I did promise it would be a short interview, but just to go back on how many people you're talking to.
mm.
So, where do you put this data? Do you use a CRM system or just classic Excel?
No, I have different spreadsheets for different things. So, but I do use different softwares as well. So, I'll initial leads and people that are interested in talking to me will come in. I'll have some software that I use just to capture that data. Some autoresponders that obviously, just basically let them know that I'll be in contact very shortly, and then after that, then I'll get in contact myself on the phone. So yeah, I use some software and some just sort of like spreadsheets as well.
Sure. So, Carl, we've briefly looked at your background and going forward into 2018. Just to reflect on some of the learnings and who some of the people you look up to, admire in terms of reading. I know you mentioned a gentleman called Grant Cardone, who I have to admit I've only heard of recently in the last year or so.
Where you been hiding, man?
No, Grant's been hiding, so
He definitely ain't been hiding, man. That guy's just mad on social media.
he definitely is. He's got huge reach in terms of social media. He's got a property background as well. And I know you're going to be spending time with him personally in 2018. What do you admire about him, Carl? Is it just his reach?
No, I suppose most of all, he kind of relates to me in the sense of where he's come from, his background. He didn't really have a good head start or whatever in life, and he's just gone out and made it happen. And for me, that's I talk to so many different people, and one of my main messages is, look, I don't care where you're from, I don't care about your story, I don't care about anything else. All I care about is that you have the passion and the want and the will to want to change your circumstance. And that's what I done. I grew up in a little council estate, with just my mum and 5 brothers and stuff. And, yeah, whatever. It wasn't the easiest, but I had a passion, I had a challenge, I had a goal, what I wanted to achieve. And I just drove at it 100 miles an hour. And with Grant and lots of other people like himself, those guys have done exactly the same thing on a massive scale. And you got to look at people at where you want to be. Grant Cardone has nearly £500 million in property. So for me, that's where I want to be. I want to step up to those levels. And not only that, for me, he also has a fantastic business model as well, and he's also got some great attributes when it comes to business, sales, and marketing, and that side of things. So again, I look up to that side of things. So for that, I'm happy to go and spend a lot of money to go and spend time with people like that. They're my mentors. I offer people consultancy and mentoring. Okay, it's important that at the same time, I'm stepping my game up and going up to other levels and higher levels as well.
So the book you mentioned beforehand, can you just show by
So
Grant?
I've got a couple of books that I'm reading at the moment. This is one of them. It's called Relentless.
Oh,
This is
that's not by Grant. Sorry.
no. This book is by Tom Grover, and this is an interesting book because he trains the best basketball players in America. So he was basically Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, them type of guys. He was their personal trainer when everything went wrong, and they had bad injuries or whatever. He's the man that they call to come in and basically make everything right. And he was basically Michael Jordan's personal trainer for sort of like 10 years and all the top trainers. So he basically gives you an insight into the mindset of these top sports world-class athletes. So that is an amazing book right now. So that's one I'm reading. Again, Richard Branson, he's one of my mentors as well. So anything that I can grab of his, I've been reading that for a little while now as well. And basically, that's obviously the overall business. He talks about, leadership and business and that side of things. So
Carl, if I narrow you down, what I know from Grant, it's about the passion, or maybe that's one of the key things, the story you can relate to. But if some people can take an aha moment away from this conversation today, in terms of what do you get from the likes of Branson? Is it literally his story, or is there some business nugget which you walk away with as
Yeah,
well?
whenever I read a book, I don't look. Whenever I read a book, I'm just looking for wherever you are at any point in your life and whatever, and any point of your business career, you'll pick up different things. You could read the same book 5 times and pick
Mm.
something new up. So as you grow, you'll see different things in the book that you couldn't have noticed before because you wasn't at that level. So I like to read books over 2, 3, 4 times sometimes as I'm growing. So things like Richard Branson, for instance, I've read that book once. I'm now reading it again. Because now my business is on another level, and I've got people, staff, and stuff like that that are working within the office and stuff like that. I'm looking at how to be a better leader, how to do different, how to do things slightly differently to what I would have done, just working on with my guys who are working on the building site and stuff like that. And you communicate in different ways. So I'm just always looking to personally grow, and no matter where you are, no matter what you're achieving, you can always go to the next level as a person and as a business.
Carl, you came along to my first summit. I did have a number of one-day events before, but in terms of rebuilding what I'd done, um, you came along in 2016 June. You presented at my one-day event. What did you learn? What did you get benefit from in terms of that particular summit in June, or in general in terms of my meets which you've presented at?
Well, I mean, the one thing I love about your meets is that you have some really knowledgeable and advanced people in the property business. I go to a lot of different meets and I talk at a lot of different events. And some events you have more advanced people in the room. Other events you have more newbies in the room. Yeah. And with your events, you can always, no matter what level you're at in property, whether you're at the beginner or whether you're, an experienced developer, you can always meet someone who you can sort of like really gain some knowledge from, and I've never failed to meet. I've actually done business now with a couple of people that I've met at your events, and I've never failed to meet some good connections and really meet some interesting people and learn something new.
Carl, just a final quick question. How can people connect with you?
Probably the easiest way at the moment to connect with me is to link me up on Facebook, and that's Carl Hutchings, or look for me under Elite Property Investments. That's probably the easiest way. You get straight onto me. I'm on all sorts of social media, but Facebook is probably the easiest way. Friend me, send me a message, and then that way we can chat. If I can help you in any way, I'm always looking and willing to see what I can do for individuals.
Carl, I just want to say huge thanks for taking that time out. I look forward to seeing you at my upcoming meets in 2018. So thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Brendan.